Welcome back to the Magnolia Shine podcast. I'm your host, Trellis Williams, alongside the one and only Blake Levine. Blake is joining us from Arizona, where he witnessed that Ole Miss and Miami ball game. It was a barn burner, and it came down to the finish. We'll talk about that here today. We'll also talk about Jackson Academy has a little bit of a recruiting possible scandal, but we'll have to see. We'll talk about that a little bit. Blake will give us a little bit of insight on that. We also going to discuss Blake's top 15 running backs in the state list. We'll talk about those 15 young men who have been showing out on the field. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about Holmes County Central. Their head coach, Marcus Rogers, has announced his resignation as coach, so they're going to be looking for a new coach as well. So we got a lot to talk about here on the Magnolia Shine podcast. It begins right now. All right, folks, we appreciate you joining us on the Magnolia Shine podcast. It is brought to you by Austin Graham with Mississippi Farm Bureau. We appreciate him sponsoring our podcast, whether it's life, auto, or home. That's the guy that you should call. His phone number is on the screen right now. That is Austin Graham. He is our sponsor for the Magnolia Shine podcast. We also want you to hit that subscribe button and follow us on Facebook. We give you a lot of good stuff. We also have Anderson Walker, who has joined our team, and he's been putting up real good content on the Magnolia Shine Facebook, so you really want to check that out as well. Blake, man, what is on your mind, man? You're live from Arizona.
You know, when we were doing the pregame thing, we were talking about, hey, okay, let's do Ole Miss last since they lost. You know what? I've changed my mind. Let's just talk about it, Trellis.
That's right.
I'm here in Arizona. I was at the game. I saw it live, and my initial thought is I underestimated Miami. You know, obviously Miami was favored in the game by the betting odds, and the betting odds had it at 3.5, and they won by 4. So kudos to them for being right once again when it comes to the betting odds. It's like Vegas knows what they're doing, and that's how they do it. However, I wasn't ready for Miami's offense and defense. Their speed they had more speed and more physical toughness than Ole Miss. Ole Miss was lucky to be leading that game at any point in that fourth quarter. They were so lucky. I mean, Miami dropped receptions. I mean, Ole Miss did not play well. Miami actually played really well, but yet just couldn't score touchdowns. And there was always some weird things. They threw a pick when they were going in to at least kick a field goal. So Ole Miss just got thoroughly beat.
If you talk about their track record now coming through this playoff, they've beaten Texas A&M, Ohio State, and Ole Miss. I mean, that's a pretty good look for them. And we saw from Miami early in the season, a lot of people were saying that they might be the best team in college football, and they're starting to play some of their best football here down the stretch of the season. And so it's good to see from the Hurricanes. On Ole Miss's side, I got to say, yes, you saw some problems with the offense not being able to move the football at times, but we saw that Miami's defense really completely shut down Texas A&M. They really held Ohio State at bay. So for Ole Miss to score 27 points, that's the toughest game Miami's had so far in terms of playing against an offense. So Ole Miss still, I think, showed that they belonged in that moment. And listen, we'll have to see what Miami does in the championship game, because that was a game that came down to the finish.
Yeah, I think those 27 points are a little deceptive, though. I don't want to take the negative side to this. And you know, obviously I'm going to cherry pick here. They had one sustained touchdown drive the whole game.
That is true. Yeah.
Because Lacey hit the 73-yarder, which Ole Miss then had 20 attempts for 48 yards outside of that run.
Yeah.
So you think about that for a moment. 20 carries for 48 yards outside of the Lacey 73, and obviously you can't take that away. That was early in the game. But Ole Miss did not have a touchdown drive until the fourth quarter when they scored that one to go. They had 4 field goals, 5 field goal attempts. They were not really – I mean, yes, they ended up with some good numbers, but it didn't feel high-powered by any means. I mean, these feel from 50-plus yards. I mean, it's not like they were getting deep into territory.
No, that is true. That is true. The Ole Miss offense did not look like it did last week against Georgia.
But you have to
where
give
they were just
Miami the
moving
credit there
football
because they were
consistently.
flying around. Their defense was flying around.
They were. And so the U's in the championship game, which is something else that's kind of a throwback to the 80s and 90s with Miami making it to the championship game. But I thought, listen, just in retrospect of this 2025 season, Ole Miss, something to be proud of, what they've accomplished this year. And then with Lane Kiffin walking away in brutal fashion, being able to go and beat Georgia after they had lost to them earlier in the season and making it to the semifinal, and also retaining, you having a very good coach, retaining your quarterback and your running back, quarterback if he's able to be approved, and you're able to keep a lot of guys on your team, and you're winning the battle in the transfer portal against a lot of schools in the country. Ole Miss might be setting up to being like a dynasty here soon.
Yeah, look, you may have saw the video I posted to my personal Facebook here where I said it's good for the whole state. It's good for Southern Miss. It's good for Jax State. It's even good for Mississippi State. And I think people are kind of construing my words a little bit wrong. I'm just saying Mississippi State fans should have rooted for Ole Miss to win. No. You root for them to lose because that's your rival. However, in a roundabout way, Ole Miss's success here does help Mississippi State. You know what it does? It forces Mississippi State to make a commitment to their football team. Right? Because do they want to sit and watch Ole Miss go play in college football playoff games year in and year out and play for things that matter a lot? Or do they want to play in the Duke's Mayo?
Nope.
Because I'm telling you right now, it was so much fun to Ole Miss for a great time. Mississippi State fans should want to have that feeling. And it's good when Ole Miss wins because it pushes Mississippi State administrations, it pushes Mississippi State NIL boosters have to make a decision.
That is true. If Ole Miss was over there being 4-8, Mississippi State might be complacent with where they are. And so,
I wouldn't say it's complacent. It's more of a this isn't acceptable. This is gonna sound really funny. You ready for this, Trellis?
Yeah.
How many wins does Mississippi State have the last 3 seasons?
That would be 6-11.
No, right? They had 2 last year, 5 this year, 5 the year before. Right? Or were they 6? Or were they 6?
They were 4-8, 2-10, and then now 5-8. So I believe that's 11. Yeah.
How many wins did Ole Miss have this season?
13.
Okay. It's not, it's not supposed to be a direct shot, but like at some point, your football community, your boosters have to go, is this acceptable?
Yeah. No, you want to turn this around.
Yeah. I will say this. So, Mississippi State fans should be jealous of Ole Miss. That's not a weird feeling. You should be jealous, and you should say no more. I don't want to feel jealous anymore. I want it for us.
Yeah, and I know that now we're getting into talking a little Mississippi State, but I do think that the process is being done, Blake. I could see us going 8-4 next year. And I feel like if you do get an 8-4 season, I feel like you're moving in the right direction. I would say an 8-4 season would be good next year, just based on what's been happening in the growth of what's going on.
But how is that? But they moved to 9 conference games, so that would mean that they went 3-0 and then 5-4 in conference.
Yeah, I would say that'd be pretty good compared to 1-7 in conference.
Sure, no, well, I'm saying, but that's how they would have to get to 8 wins.
That's right, and I would say that'd be a pretty good season. If you go 5-4 in the SEC, that's pretty good.
Can they do it?
You're saying can they do it? Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah,
not at the moment, but maybe things change. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it's a never thing, but that would take a lot.
Well, here's the thing, Blake. I know you're a big Kamario Taylor guy, and if he's able to step up to this level that a lot of people are saying, and these are people outside of Mississippi State that are saying this as well about Kamario Taylor. He does look special to me, especially once he gets, tight as a college football player, you know what I mean? Because this year he showed his raw talent, but I think he's just going to keep getting better and better. And so, listen, if you have a guy like that on your team, and then also being able to flip some guys over in terms of commitments to going to Mississippi State, and we've got some Mississippi guys on the team. Blake. We got some real good Mississippi guys on the team. I'm excited about that for next year.
Look, you should be excited, but like I said, everything it's all good. Winning is good for everybody.
That's right. That's right. Hey, look, and Blake, you know me, I'm an optimist, man. I'm an optimist until right after the games, right after every game, and then I'm like, man, forget this. I'm never watching another Mississippi State game in my life, and then I'm ready again for next week. Okay, on to the next subject here today. So look, Blake, we're going to talk a little bit about this Jackson Academy recruiting thing. Now, I do want to ask you this, Blake, because I know you probably are more enlightened than I am. I've read the stories. I've watched some analysis on it. And I think my big question is, what does it actually mean to illegally recruit athletes when we're talking about private school football? Like, what does that even mean when you have to recruit every single person to come to your school? Like, you have to try to get people to come to your school if you're a private school. So what's illegal about that? Yeah.
Well, it is an MA rule. You cannot recruit athletes. That's a rule.
I actually didn't know.
Is it enforced? Okay. Is it enforced? No. Yeah. So I guess, when's the last time you saw someone get a ticket for jaywalking? You see what I'm saying? But you see people get tickets for speeding. One's enforced, one's not.
Yeah. Okay, but here's the thing, Blake. So, what does it mean to recruit an athlete? That's the question. What does it mean to recruit an athlete?
I mean, you're obviously sending them messages or saying things and giving props to say, we want to be an athlete here first almost. I mean, I think that's probably a roundabout way to say it, which is you're not coming here for school. You're coming here to play sports. And you're going to get a good education along the way. We want you here as an athlete before we want you here as a student. I guess somewhat say. Again, it's all a sensitive topic though, because because there are good athletes. So, every family has to make their own decision, and I don't blame families for making these decisions.
That's right. And I guess the scholarship thing is a part of it too. Is it illegal to give somebody a scholarship? That seems a little bit interesting.
No, I don't think so. How can you prove that you're giving them an athletic scholarship compared to a educational scholarship, I guess? And then also, how can you prove who's paying the money if you aren't even given a scholarship? Like, how can you prove where the money's coming in to get paid? Because, some of these kids are paying for the school.
Yeah. I mean, that is true. So I just think that's an interesting thing. Now, obviously, I think if you just use your eyes and just use common sense, it's obvious that JA's recruiting players to their school. I mean, come on, it's happening in mass. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't see anything. I know, Blake, you're trying to play the fence a little bit here. I don't find anything to be necessarily wrong with it. I think it has just a lot more to do with JA's relationship with the parents that do pay for their kids to go to school there, and who like to play sports. I think that's kind of where their issue is. I don't see a problem with them recruiting athletes to come to their school, because a lot of times I think it's good for the athletes. If they would rather go to Jackson Academy and they're offering them the ability to come play sports there, which is a good athletic opportunity and a good academic opportunity, I think that's a win-win. I don't see a problem with it. I think that's more something they have to take up with the boosters and the parents.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I'm never going to fault a family for making the best decision for their family. They can always do that. That's never something I can, just like, by the way, just like there are kids that go public to public and they move cities, right? So that they become eligible, right? So it happens in public school too. With regards to this case, I mean, it's a really interesting case. I mean, I suggest that everybody go read the court document. It's readily available. You can go read the whole thing. It'll take you all 5-10 minutes. It's not very long. And I suggest you go read it and you kind of start to formulate an opinion on yourself. Obviously, that's one side of it. Jackson Academy has their side of it, right? I mean, that's just the one side. That's just the party that's suing.
Okay, and then another question I have for you, Blake, because I know you've got the knowledge on the situation. How is this a lawsuit? I think is my question too, because I guess it's against MAIS rules, but how is it actually something that could be legally?
Because they kicked the kid out of the school in what they felt like was retaliation. So they're saying that the school owes them money for what I think it's. Don't quote me. I might be wrong, but I'm trying to remember the document. The pain and suffering, and then also they owed the tuition of all the years that he was there prior because he was a part of the community, and something around those lines. So they owed him money.
Oh, I see.
For kicking him out for an unjust retaliation reason, and what they're alleging.
Okay, and so I hear that, and I know I've got a bunch of questions.
They're suing for money. They're suing for money mainly.
For sure, but and I think a lot of the audience would have this question as well. So that means they could probably win this lawsuit without even it being like an illegal thing with the recruiting. How are these related to each other? Because I know that I guess that they were sharing something about the recruiting situation, but like it seems like they might be able to win that suit even if they weren't illegally recruiting players, so to speak.
I am not a lawyer, so I'm gonna
try
to really sidestep this thing here. In the court documents, it alleges that the father created PDF, and when it got shared out further than the JA community, that that was the start of the retaliation towards their son. Again, this is what they're alleging, and his argument is, but the PDF was true. So are you kicking him out for truthful information that's being shared about what is actually happening at JA? That's his argument.
That's what it is. Okay.
That even though it may have been embarrassing to have that PDF, it was a truthful document. What they're saying was a truthful document. So you're now kicking my son out, who's been here for over a decade, for truthful information being shared.
Okay, I see. All right, and folks, look, that's reporting from Blake Levine. He's just reporting what is in the court documents, and we don't know.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm just reading this from the
Yeah, so we're not making any assertions here. I know that I probably made an assertion, but that's me. You can just stick that to me. Don't stick that to Blake, because we've got our two different opinions, because what we're about to move on to next is the top 15 running backs in the state, but that's according to Blake, all right? So don't be coming to me in the Walmart being like, hey, man, you didn't put me on the list. I have the list right here.
Okay, good, because although I think I can rip them off all in order, sometimes I might miss just one, and I'm glad, because I don't have my papers or anything with me, because again, I'm in Arizona.
That's right. So I have it right here, Blake. We'll go through them starting with 15, moving to 1. Okay, Blake.
Jaden Poole of Bogachita. I'm telling you guys,
right.
If you haven't seen this kid can really ball out. Physically, he plays offense. He plays defense. I mean, sometimes I give a little extra credit to the kid that plays defense. He's going to go run for 2,000 yards and then have to go tackle on defense as well. Just a great athlete, star player down in that area.
And see, that's the thing. That's a good point that you make there, because some people will talk about some of these guys that compete in like 1A, like in this situation, where it's like, well, you're playing against 1A competition. It's like, yeah, and you're also playing offense and defense the entire time. So
exactly. So yeah, at some point you got to run out of gas.
That's right. So he's doing a lot of good things there. That's number 15. Number 14, you got Brandon Haynes out of Hazelhurst.
Yeah, no, really good running back. He was somebody that our guy Austin Graham cued me in on and said, "Hey, you got to check this kid out from Hazelhurst. He's just a sophomore, but he's really good." And I'm like, "Okay, let me go check him out." And I was like, "Oh my goodness, these numbers are insane." And Hazelhurst has had some good running backs in the past.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. And so then at number 14, you have Xavier Waters out of Itawamba.
13, right? Did you say 14 or 13?
Oh, yeah, excuse me, 13, yeah.
Yeah, Xavier Waters, he's a really nice kid, first of all. I just want to say he's a very nice kid. Here's another one that has put up some big numbers here recently. And, he's kind of getting some recruiting from, some of the JUCOs and some lower level, FCS schools. So for him, this is a kid that obviously colleges are interested in. And usually if colleges are interested, you're pretty good. And he's also has the numbers to back it up. And I think sometimes Itawamba, maybe he gets lost in the shuffle. And I said, not on my list.
Then you got Jacob Jefferson from Starkville, who just made the transfer from New Hope to Starkville. And so he'll be the running back for the Yellow Jackets. You got him at number 12.
Yeah, and he his numbers aren't going to look crazy because I think he missed like half season last year. But if you look at like the 6 or 7 games they have listed in Max Preps, I think he went over 200 in like 5 of the 6 or 7 or something like that. And I said, okay, well, his season-long numbers are not going to look great if you just look at it. But go to his game log, and you're like, whoa, okay, this kid's every time he touches the ball, it's a possible home run. He's a home run hitter type of running back. And for Starkville, that's big.
And then from Winona, we got Yoshawn Hudson. And you're talking about a team. You're talking about a guy who played for a team that made a big run in 3A. I mean, I guess their playoff run wasn't as much, but over the course of the regular season, they had some real big wins.
Yeah, I mean, look, there was an argument that he could be a Mr. Football last year and maybe this year, that this Yoshawn Hudson could obviously win a Mr. Football. There's so many good players, but he definitely has a shot. You talk about the touchdown totals that he has. I mean, I think it was close to 30, if not 30. So for him, he's a beast.
And then you got Cade Rogers out of DeSoto Central.
Yeah, here's a kid that gets lost in the shuffle. They play in one of the highest levels, and yet he's putting up monster numbers, right? So you're telling me, okay, well, his team's not winning, but he's still able to go get his? That's pretty impressive. And you think about some of the teams that he had to play in his district, some really good defenses too. So for Cade Rogers to put up, 2,000 yards at that level with a team that wasn't winning a lot of games. Now, they were winning some games. I'm not saying they were, 0-10 here. They were winning some games, but just the fact that he was able to put these numbers up on a team that wasn't a 9-1 and 8-2.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is that you say, they weren't winning a whole lot, but they did make the playoffs, I'm pretty sure. Didn't DeSoto Central make the playoffs?
Yeah. No, right. That's what I wanted to correct it. I was trying to say they weren't like a 10-9 and 1
No. They weren't one of the top 10.
No.
Yeah, no, 100%. Hey, we got a private school running back here with Desi Monix out of Lee Academy.
Yeah, Desi Monix Jr. He, to me, he's one of the best private school running backs. I think the kid from MRA is also really good too as well. I could have put him on the list as well. Desi Monix at one point was near the top in the country in touchdowns scored last year. And he helped Lee Academy get to the state finals last year. And, man, they're going to have a chance to win another state championship this upcoming year. I got to see him live at Jackson Academy, and he was good. I mean, look, obviously they tried to bundle him up, but the kid was tough. He ran hard, and, he's got some moves.
And then we got Nolan Bailey out of Lanier. So we got a Jackson kid here. And, man, we saw this, Lanier had so much talent this past year. And we expect them to be coming back good again this upcoming year and bringing back Nolan Bailey as the running back.
Yeah, here's a kid that, Lanier really hoped they would have had in the playoffs. And another kid where his numbers do not tell the full story because of the games he had to miss. Right? I mean, you think about it, he had top 10 type of rushing season, and he had to miss games. And he didn't even go deep in the playoffs. His yards per game were up there with anybody in the state, and Jackson, always has some good running backs in the past, and he's just another one to notch. And I know that Tommy Kelly's happy to have him.
So then at number 7, you have Jordan Keys, who obviously is on the cusp of possibly being able to break a Mississippi rushing record. You've got him at number 7, and he is transferring from Lloyd Star to Brookhaven reportedly. And so that's where he's going to be next year, Jordan Keys at number 7.
Yeah, there's an argument to put him higher, and you know what? Maybe at the end of the season we do have him higher because Brookhaven's the favorite in 5A this year. They bring back the majority of their roster. Then you add a kid like that. I'd like to see what it look like in 5A. I think there's a possibility they're close to the same, and in which case, if he breaks the rushing record, it's hard not to put that kid, at least in the top 3.
Yeah, it seemed like it there. Then at number 6, you got Kylan Bobo out of Tupelo. And, man, Tupelo just keeps on returning their talent. And you got Kylan Bobo there as running back. He was already very effective this past year, and I do believe last year even as well in their championship year. And so he's going to be there now. You got him at number 6.
I hated putting these kids at 6 and 7. I was like, man, I feel like I'm disrespecting these kids, putting them at 6 and 7 because I'm like, College Bobo's so good. And, his numbers would be even higher if obviously J.J. Hill wasn't there. And now this is going to be the time where he's the featured back all by himself. And they're going to have a quarterback that can throw the ball. It's probably going to help him in the running game. I think here's another guy that can move up the list.
At number 5, you got Christian Alexander from Rosa Fort.
Yeah, and another kid that just kind of has been lost in the shuffle of maybe the talking in Mississippi. His recruiting is not lost in the shuffle. The kid's one of the top in the state, right? So the recruiters know who this kid is. It's just sometimes I feel like as a state we just aren't talking about them because Tunica just hasn't, gone deep in the playoffs. They haven't had, maybe some major upsets. And, they've been around 500. But I think that maybe this year they can have a little more success. They have some other talent in some other places as well, with Christian Alexander leading the rush here.
You got Zayden Jernigan out of Louisville at number 4. And so Zayden Jernigan from the Golden Triangle area. You got, Louisville, very good team. They were in the North State Championship for 4A. You have Zayden Jernigan at number 4.
Yeah, and, there's an argument that he could have been 3 as well, or even, maybe 1 or 2. Here's a kid that's rated. He could be a possible 5-star. He's a player in his class he's going to go into his junior year. Maybe I was just a little more heavy on the seniors, for the top 3, because all 3 of the guys that are here are seniors, and maybe that was my kind of like I kind of went for high school purposes. But when Zayden Jernigan's a senior, he's going to be the best running back in the state.
And then we got Xavier Dennis, number 3 from Picayune.
He had 2,900 yards last year on the ground, right? I mean, another kid that almost had 3,000 yards rushing, and we just didn't talk enough about them. And again, playing a state championship game, so he missed a game, or else he would have been over 3,000 yards like Ty Keys did, which I know we haven't heard his name because his name's coming up. So for me, Xavier Dennis, I mean, at some point the numbers don't lie. And the kid had one of the best in the state, and he was playing 6A, right? We were talking about, how hard is it to run for 2,000 from 5A? Well, that kid's playing almost had 3,000 yards.
Yeah. And then at number 2, you got Tyson Robinson out of Brandon. And, he's obviously so talented, and we see every time he's playing. This year probably wasn't one of his personal favorite years because he had to miss some time with injury. But when he returned, he did very well in the playoffs, getting them to the South State Championship game. But Tyson Robinson about to go into his senior year from Brandon High School.
So the reason I put this kid 2 was it was more of an eye test thing to me. It's a kid that I've watched a bunch, and I just absolutely love his game. I like the way that he plays. I like the way that he has his vision on the field. And sometimes you can't teach vision is something that is gifted for him. It's like being able to pass the ball in basketball.
Yeah. And then you have at number 1, of course, Ty Keys out of Poplarville. He had eye-popping stats over the course of this season. He's also in the running for the rushing record as well as Jordan Keys. And so Ty Keys out of Poplarville going into his senior season.
Yeah, I think this kid had to be number 1. I mean, a kid that, ran for almost 3,500 yards. He had 43 touchdowns, 44 touchdowns. Sorry if I misstepped that one. I mean, either way, it was over touchdowns. And again, here's a kid that he would have the rushing record if he did 5 games on offense his sophomore year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reason. This kid would have the record. I mean, he's all world right now.
Absolutely. That's Ty Keys. Number 1, this is the Blake Levine top 15 running backs list. Before we get out of here, we're going to talk a little bit about, we just saw that Marcus Rogers resigns as head coach at Holmes County Central. And I thought this was something worth noting on the show because, Holmes County is a major player in 5A in the state. And they made it to the North State Championship game and actually gave West Point a pretty good matchup for a while, defensively specifically. But we see Marcus Rogers leaving. Do you have any insight on how that happened, why that is happening, kind of what the details are, or would you just not want to
Yeah,
speculate? Really?
no, he just didn't want to coach right now. He resigned the position. He is still going to be an administrator at Holmes County as an assistant principal and I think the
Okay,
county
gotcha.
AD. So he is
Oh,
still running the sports in Holmes County. He is still an assistant principal at the high school. He just didn't want to go through another football season. He says it's a little mentally draining. I mean, and I understand, I get it.
bet you it
And
is. Yeah.
obviously he has other roles too. He's not just a football coach, right? If he was just a football coach resigning, I'd be like, well, what are you going to do? But he's had a lot of different hats at Holmes County, and I think he just wants to focus on a couple of them instead of trying to do a whole bag of a lot of things.
That's right. That's right. Okay, that makes sense. But do you have any insight, Blake, on who the new head coach will be? Will it be somebody from their staff?
I do not know, but I assume he's hiring him. I assume he's going to hire him.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. So it's really not it's an amicable situation. He's still at Holmes County. He's probably making the hire for the next coach and everything like that. So Holmes County will probably still be in pretty good hands as they've been very competitive over the last few years. This year they had a good run as well. And so that is that. But folks, look, we appreciate you joining us on the Magnolia Shine podcast. We'll be back on Monday. And on Monday, I'm sure we'll hop into some basketball. We didn't talk about basketball today. We'll hop into some basketball as we have some district games rolling out right now. And we hope to have some good interviews for you coming up as well that we have in store. But Blake, any final thoughts for our episode here today?
Just the news never stops, and it's a good thing.
That is good. That is good. Folks, we appreciate you joining us on the Magnolia Shine podcast. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button. We keep on moving up, and we want you to keep on adding subscribers to our base. Also, like and share with anyone else who'd be interested in the topics that we cover on this podcast. Follow us on Facebook. We appreciate Austin Graham for sponsoring our show. And until next time, we out.